Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I really wanted to start off saying thank you so much. I have so many new subscribers. I never in a million years would have thought that I would have over 200,000 views on one video, almost 100,000 views on another video, and I'm just so incredibly thankful and grateful for all of you. Welcome to the wild ride. I hope you enjoy the content that I continue to put out on this channel, and feel free to leave any comments on anything you want me to make a video on or cover. I also wanted to say thank you. Somebody corrected my pronunciation of Chai Bing's name. I've been saying Kai Bing. If I ever mispronounce somebody's name, feel free to yell at me in the comments. I never want to disrespect anybody by mispronouncing their name. Let's get into the video. So we started off with Fiesta Team 1 and Fiesta Team 2 on stage, and I don't know why Mnet made this decision. I know that Mnet has in the past favored contestants, not even in the past, it's happening right now, and given a lot of screen and camera time to individuals that they want the public to vote for, but I thought it was such a disservice to only give Fiesta Team 2 like 10 minutes total, and that it like from the background that we get about Miu's vocal difficulties to the stage performance, it was like 10 minutes and that was it, which is very different from what we saw last week and this week with the other teams performing. It was just kind of startling, especially because there's so many different ways they could have gone in terms of the storyline for this performance, with them being, you know, the team that was made up of the people who weren't selected by other teams. And I really wish we got more information about this team, particularly because if you look at the rankings, with the exception of Hyuning Biaz, correct me if I'm mispronouncing that in the comments, team, the rest of the teams are not doing very well. I think Miu, because of her vocal struggles, could have a boost in the votes, but overall, I think it's somewhat safe to say that a majority of this team is not going to make it to the next round, so it would have been really nice to see a little bit more of them. The judges' feedback was basically for Ito Miu, saying that it was really sad that she wasn't able to hit the notes. They also said that the team didn't seem like into the performance, just kind of disappointing all around for the team, and it's hard to not feel bad for them. Then we get to Fiesta Team 2. We start off with the interim assessment, which does not go well. Qingzhao had a really rough time vocally and with the dance steps, and her cell ended up being ranked the lowest cell for both of the Fiesta performances. Yeso basically has a breakdown, and Qingzhao feels really guilty knowing that Yeso put her on her team in the cell and she was not living up to the expectations. So she ended up working really hard, and she worked with Mashiro, who's also in their cell, and the three of them kind of helped to boost her together. They did the performance and it was phenomenal. When I did who I thought was going to win, I had Team 1 down. I don't think a lot of people expected Team 2 to win. I think most people had Team 1 pegged, so it wasn't really shocking or surprising when they ended up winning.
And just as an aside, I kind of chuckled when the big sign fell. I know it distracted them and it wasn't a good thing, but it was kind of funny. Next up, we have the 5th season teams. Team 1 and Team 2. Team 1 is led by Kim Bora, and Team 2 is led by Rayon. I think a lot of people saw Team 1 winning just because they had Bora, and especially once the clips started coming out, the fan cams. I originally said I thought Team 2 was going to win because I thought they were more balanced, but I think this kind of goes to show how important a good leader is. Bora really organized their practices well and used their time efficiently, and I think it really paid off at the end. Team 1 ended up winning. The whole package that they showed was basically about how Team 1 was more organized and Team 2 was more disorganized. Team 2 worked really hard, and then in the stage practice that they had, Team 2 did better than Team 1, and the judges were like, we don't know who's gonna win. And like I already said, Team 1 ended up winning. I was a little shocked and taken aback when I watched the actual episode that Mnet didn't do anything about Liang Xiao's dress ripping. She had a a wardrobe malfunction during the performance. If you watch her fan cam, you'll see she steps on the train of her dress, and it literally just rips through her leg, and she continues to perform. And I'm wondering if that is part of what the judges were talking about when they were praising her for her performance. But I thought it was interesting that they spent a lot of time talking about Yesao's microphone in the episode that they did their presentation to the judges, and Ling Chao has an entire wardrobe malfunction and they say nothing. So it's again like Mnet picking and choosing what they want to cover and for whom. Next, we get to the three-way group. Sorry, I really don't have a better way to phrase that. We start off with the mic drop team, and they were chaotic, to say the very least, in their interim evaluation with the judges. Their stage performance went pretty well. I thought it was really good considering, and I think a lot of the people felt that way, including the judges, that they were able to pull their performance together and do a really good job. I think that the biggest person in this group who gets major props is definitely Jongmin, because she is the one, even though she wasn't leader, who kind of pulled everybody together and was like, we need to do a good performance and at least perform this song. And her vocals were amazing. And that mic drop at the end was probably the best part of the entire performance. It was just golden. Up next, we have Pretty You group covering 17. We start off in the interim assessment, and the team doesn't really have it all together, but they're energetic, entertaining, and fun to watch, so the judges are enjoying the performance. Yoonji starts off as the killing part person, but as the performance goes on, Sunmi decides to say, well, can we see Maya do it? And it's not necessarily that Yoonji was doing it poorly. I think the thing that happened is that Maya is such an engaging performer, especially in this kind of concept, that you can't help but look at her. And when you have somebody like that not at the center spot, then the energy of the team seems uneven. So putting her as the killing part person in the center spot, it seems to even out the energy of the performance, plus the people performing behind her can see her energy and rise to her energy level. So I think that it was a good idea to switch her to the killing part person, and it was kind of hard to watch to see Yoonji deal with the fact that it's not that she was bad, it's just that Maya was better. And seeing Maya work really hard to perfect her center spot. I thought that the team did really well. I thought it was really sweet that they were all really engaging with one another during the performance. And I think that's what sets this and the Yes or Yes performance apart from a lot of the other performances. You can see that they genuinely enjoyed performing together. So yeah, they did a really awesome job. And this is one of my favorite performances from the entire challenge. Also, big ups to their rappers and their harmonies, because those were all on point too. And finally, final performance of the Connect mission is the Eve team. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a warning. Some people might not like what I have to say about this team and their performance, but that's totally fine with me. It's a review/recap video. So we start off with Dayan, and I thought it was really funny her making eye contact with Sunmi and the other judge when they were like, did everybody get the part that they wanted? And she was just like giggling. I thought that was super cute. They basically do the performance and it was okay. The judges said the only person who had vocal flaws was Sureji, because she had, I think, vocal part 2 and the killing part. So they were like, well, which one do you want? And she said, I don't really want to choose, which I was like, if the judges are telling you that vocally it's just not there, like, I feel like for the good of the team, you should be like, well, if I had to pick one, I would pick the killing part, because that's the part that you guys said vocally I don't have a problem with. And then Dayan speaks up and she was like, you know, we didn't get to audition for the parts, they were just given to us. And this is probably why I had a bad taste in my mouth for this team, when everybody was like, well, I can't believe that Dayan didn't tell us. If she told us, we would have taken care of it. I was like, what? She definitely said that in the last episode. They aired it where she was like, I really wanted to audition for these parts and like, I don't really think it's fair. And they were like, well, everybody all got one chance. And they shut her down. So I was kind of like, really? That's what we're doing? Like, okay. And then they had a little powwow, table talk, and they all decided to re-audition for all the parts and rearrange the vocal parts. And I thought that the performance vocally sounded really, really well. And I kind of have a problem with this team too because of the judges, right? And the judges said this a lot throughout the episode that like because they saw people perform in the interim and for the stage practice, that when they did the actual performance, it didn't rise to what they had previously seen. And I'm like, well, why do we have like four of the five judges or four of the six judges watching the performance, right? You should have two judges watching in the interim, two judges in the stage practice, and then all six voting. So I thought that it was kind of sucky for this team and for many other teams that the judges were like, well, we've just seen you do it better. And it's part of the reason why I was like, oh, I kind of miss the live studio audience because they're only seeing what they see. But anyway, I thought that the performance was good. I thought vocally was good. I thought the dance moves were good. But there was definitely just something missing from the performance for me, right? I think everybody individually did incredible. This was a really well-formed group in terms of capabilities, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I like EXO and this song that like I was hoping for more, but yeah, I just it was a good performance and I didn't dislike it, but I wouldn't say I was obsessed and in love with it either. So we finally get to the part where we find out who the winner is of the 3-time voting benefit. It was actually a tie between the Eve and Pretty You, but Pretty You ended up winning because they had higher overall scores from the judges than the Eve did. And this is probably my biggest win. If you look back at the predictions that I posted, I thought that Pretty You was going to win, which I think a lot of people were surprised by. But for me, I just feel like 17 is such an energetic group. It's hard to do their songs a disservice, especially when a lot of the girls in the Pretty You team had more youthful energy and are used to doing like aegyo or cutesier concepts, that I thought it would be playing to their strong point to do Pretty You and do it well. Versus the other teams, like, yeah, they have really strong performers, especially the Eve has strong performers, but I think in the world of K-pop, a good, cute concept is really hard to beat, especially looking at like the history of K-pop groups and songs. That is basically the end of the episode. We have one more thing to do though, actually two more. So we need to find out who out of the 5 winning teams got the M Countdown benefit. I was torn between Yes or Yes and Pretty You because I really enjoyed both of those performances, and Yes or Yes ended up being the winner and will be performing on M Countdown, which I think is just such an honor. I'm hopeful that all of them made it to the next round, but if they didn't, being able to go out saying that you performed on M Countdown is such a huge win, and I'm really excited for all of the members of that team. The episode ends with Tiffany and Sunmi coming out and talking to the contestants, telling them that unfortunately, some people will be eliminated, but don't let this be the end of their dreams, that there is always another opportunity or something waiting for them, and they can continue to dream big. We do not get a spoiler for next episode or a promo preview, nothing, because they didn't film it yet. Next week is the elimination episode where we find out which cells are going to be eliminated, and we get to find out our first voted on top 9. I am so excited. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to stay or go, who your current top 9 is. I will be releasing a top 9 video sometime before Friday when the episode premieres in America, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.